I'm Al from Iconic Baseball.
And I'm Brian, the High Pop Professor.
Welcome to Brothers Duo!
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Brothers Duo. And here we get to do this one live. This is kind of fun.
Our first live episode of all time where we're actually together.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. That's
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, we're in Ocean City, New Jersey on vacation, family vacation. And let me start by saying Happy Father's Day to our dad, who's over in the other room there, and this dad right here. So, and to all the dads out there. So happy Father's Day to everybody. We're recording this on Father's Day. So it's very special episode here. And great to be in person with my own brother.
There we go.
And a father.
Couldn't have said it any better. I'm really glad that it is now summer, and so my classes are done, and I'm just ready to relax a little bit.
Yes, congrats on that as well.
Thank you. I'll drink to that.
Happy vacation. And
Yep.
and we're back in Yuengling country. So very happy. I can't get Yuengling in Colorado, so it's always a big treat to get back to Yuengling country and actually be able to drink my home state beer, Yuengling. So cheers to everyone.
There we are.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, what do you want to talk about? The hobby stuff.
Well,
we got National coming up. We got other collecting things we can discuss.
Any number of topics we could talk about, but let's start by saying stay to the end of this video because I surprised Brian with a late birthday present by buying him half of a box of unopened 1994 Bowman's Best, one of our favorite products from back when we were kids that we actually opened for the first time here in Ocean City, New Jersey. And so I surprised him last night with this box. And so we're going to show some results after we are done with our discussion here. So stay till the end if you want to see what happens with this half box.
With these 12 packs, you know, because it's
Yep. The inaugural year of Bowman's Best, 94. What a great set. So we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, and I'll probably do a follow-up because really this is a fascinating experiment because it was a beautiful set. I loved that set, always did. It was the first ever year Bowman's Best, and they were just gorgeous cards. They were gorgeous. The design was unique and it was striking. But they were chromium. They were shiny. They were high end. And it's a shame that they hulked out the way they did. And so I'm so curious to get in here and see how many of these cards are hulked out when they come out of the pack.
And you said it before, the ones that survived unhulked are going to have a premium, I think.
Totally.
It's going to be like, okay, so there's having a great player, then having a great player in a refractor, then having a great player in a refractor that somehow isn't hulked out and survived to this day with a good image. So and that's going to be a very slim upper echelon of cards.
It's just fascinating to know that, like, you know, in a given pack, you can get two cards back to back. One of them might be perfect, and the other one might be completely, you know.
And we saw that. We saw that. Yeah.
So it was fascinating just from a science experiment perspective.
I mean,
of what do we expect?
These packs, they've been sealed for 31 years and have been exposed to the same elements of heat, moisture, storage,
Lighting,
climate,
lack of.
elevation, whatever. Like they've been in the same place, yet it's weird to see how different cards reacted that were in the same pack for 31 years. Some of them look great, and then some of them look horrendous. So, very odd.
So interesting experiment, but so that'll be fun. So stick to the end to check out to see how that went. And so that'll be fun.
Well, this first topic, I think we came upon last night as we were talking, and we were both pulling up our eBay watch lists because I think any collector out there can relate to this. How you have a list of items on your eBay watch list at any given time. Some people have a narrow list of things that they're monitoring on eBay and looking for, and some people have very long lists of things they're looking for. And we were comparing and contrasting how we do it in our hobby between Brian and I. And what we noticed was we're different in a way, where Brian tends to monitor a lot of things, even if he already has that card or if he already has what he's looking for that particular search. He still monitors on a continual basis with the idea that he might buy another one, or if there's an opportunity, he will take advantage of that. Maybe buy another one to replace the one he has and move another one along to make some extra money. Whereas for me, when I acquire a piece, say like last year when I bought my Sai Young autograph at the National, was part of the enjoyment of the hobby for me, the satisfaction of crossing that item off my list and taking it off of my watch list. And that is a big part of it for me, is like, awesome, I don't have to search for this anymore because I have my Sai Young autograph. Don't have to search for that anymore. Not to say that I won't check back in again and maybe see where Sai Young autographs are in a few years or every so often, just to see what's out there, because I'm just curious, market research type of thing. And then there are certain things I do monitor, but I view taking that off my watch list as a big piece of achieving and acquiring that piece. So that's anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I have quite a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
So I mean, the eBay saved searches, it's such an important, integral part of how we interact with that website, that platform, and what we're searching for, and how we, are finding the stuff we're trying to find. And I can completely understand where you're coming from as far as how satisfying is it to cross something off a checklist or a to-do list. And so, yes, I get that. However, I think that the way that one interacts with those saved searches, I think that there's, well, again, like as with anything in the hobby, there's not one right way to do it. And so, yeah, we do have some differences there. For me, I don't really want to miss something that comes up because I didn't use the right search keywords in the algorithm, right? So if I am looking for autographed Diamond Kings, I will put down autographed Diamond Kings, and I want to see all that comes up. Now, it's interesting because I tend to try to cast a very wide net when I do that. And so I understand that like 98, 99% of all the hits that will come up with those searches won't be anything I'm interested in. They're going to be players that I haven't selected from the wrong years, or ones I'm just not interested in. That's fine. I understand that. But I don't just do Diamond King autographs. I will say Diamond King auto, maybe singular Diamond King, not Kings, but King, because not everyone lists it with the correct S on the end of it. Instead of autograph, I might shorten it to auto. Diamond King signed. These are all different phrases that, yeah, maybe the same listing gets pinged by all three of those saved searches, but maybe only one of them hits the right one.
I do the same thing when I'm looking for an autograph of a pre-war player, for example.
Yeah.
I'll search Al Simmons signed, Al Simmons PSA DNA, Al Simmons autograph, Al Simmons autographed,
Al Simmons cut.
Yeah, whatever I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And so no matter how someone lists that piece, it should come up in one of your saved searches. I mean, I'm not going to miss an Al Simmons autograph. Unlikely, anyway.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, and again, I will search Greg Maddox refractor. And again, that's one of those gigantic blankets where it's like most of them that come up are, post-playing days, ultra-modern stuff that doesn't really speak to me. And so that's largely what gets populated in there. But then again, that also will catch the special ones that throw in there and then come in for the 90s insert refractors or...
Do you find that you waste too much time scrolling because of that? Because you have such a wide net in so many different ways and so many saved searches that are so broad that you just waste too much time scrolling because you have so many saved things to get through every day?
Well, largely I know what I'm looking for. And so I can scroll pretty quickly. Okay. So I don't really take a look very carefully at all of them because I know basically for Diamond King autographs at this point, it's mostly 92, 93, 94 are the years I'm mostly keying in on.
That's
a
consideration for me because I think I have maybe 30 saved searches.
Yeah.
I think that's how many I have. And a lot of them are narrow enough to where there's not a lot to look at for each one. And so I can pretty quickly every day pull up my eBay, if it is every day or every other day or whatever it is, go through and see what is new. And usually I can kind of work my way through that in about 5 minutes. Yeah. It doesn't take me very long.
Yeah, it doesn't take me that long either.
Okay.
I think probably 5, certainly no more than 10. I can get through everything and see what there is. And usually most of the time it's not anything I'm interested in. And even if something catches my eye, what I'll do is I'll watch it with zero intent of ever bidding on it. And so I'm interested in seeing, it's been a long time since I've seen one of these come up. Okay, this is here's a 93 finest refractor, Greg Maddox, and a PSA 9. It's like, I have one of those. I have no intent on bidding on it or buying one, but I want to see where it ends up. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to follow it.
This ties in with our previous topic last week or a couple weeks ago when we said finite versus infinite collecting. Is it finite or infinite searching? Are you someone that when you acquire a piece, that's it? And you're pretty much done looking for it. You're done monitoring for that piece once you've acquired it, more like me? Or are you more the person that continually monitors for that same piece, that same card, or that same market long after you've acquired it, and more or less feel like you're satisfied for that. So comment, let us know where you stand. Are you more like continual monitoring, or are you more like acquire it, cross off the list, sweet, I don't have to look for this anymore?
Yeah, I like the data. I like the information.
Sure.
I like knowing where this thing has gone, where it's been. At some point, probably should just get a subscription to Card Ladder or Market Movers, and I'm too cheap for that though. So that's the money I'm not spending on cards. That's a problem.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I don't know. I just like to when something gets listed and pops up that piques my interest. Yeah, I want to take a look at it just to see where it ends. And if it looks like it's going to end low enough, I might pick up a copy of one. Look, that's how I ended up with the Counterparts Limited Exposure PSA 10 duplicate that I had of Maddox, because it finished for less than the cost of grading. And so that's silly. I mean, I'm going to do that. If I find an opportunity to flip, or an opportunity where something has increased in value to where it makes sense for me to maybe list one that I have and either replace it or upgrade it or move it and get into something else, I will do that.
Yeah, you're more likely to find things that are going to fly under the radar if you cast a wide net. So
yeah,
I get it. I get it.
So I guess maybe that means that on the continuum, maybe I'm a little bit more heavily weighted towards flipper than you are.
Maybe you have more of a flipper component than I do. Yeah.
I mean, and I wouldn't like call myself, that's not primarily like how I mainly engage with the hobby, but
no, you might be 25% flipper. I know I might be 15. So
Yeah.
it's like it's more of a sliding scale more than a binary thing.
And mostly when I do that, it's to increase hobby funds to go for more cards. So it's not like that money's being siphoned out of the hobby. Like, no. It's going back in the hobby, but just in a different direction that fits my bonsai tree, where I want to go with it, how I want to grow it.
I'm much more likely to sell off things from my existing collection that no longer satisfy an essential piece of my collection. I had a Wayne Gretzky signed baseball. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky signed baseball. That, it's cool. But I don't collect Wayne Gretzky. I don't even collect hockey. I do collect signed baseballs. So when I bought it way back in the day for $175, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like the greatest hockey player of all time signed on a baseball. But as I've owned it now the value of it is around $500 or $550, and now it's like, okay, for that price, I could do something more substantial. And so I moved that along a couple months ago, just to raise funds for the upcoming national.
There you go.
And so I don't regret that. And that's not flipping, because I owned that thing for 15 years.
Is flipping just the time horizon
I guess
between when you move things?
I don't know what the definition is, but
I'm not sure.
For me, it's continually reevaluating and combing through your collection. And when you find redundancies, when you find duplicates, when you find things that are no longer as essential as they used to be, or the price has changed to the point where, you know what? I was cool holding it at $175, but now that it's a $550 baseball, now I'm going to move that onto a Wayne Gretzky collector, or somebody that appreciates it more than I do for that price, and I'm going to roll that money into something more core for my collection.
Yeah.
So that's more how I do it versus buy something and immediately sell it. That's, I think, when you buy something with the intention of immediately relisting it or immediately reselling it, to me that's a flipper. Yeah. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just a way to operate. I do that a lot less. It's more for me, I buy it, hold it for a period of time, and then over time, if my opinion on it changes, or the value changes, or maybe it's not in my focus as much as it used to be, then I decide, okay, I'm gonna move this along and maybe reinvest that money into some other more essential piece. That's more how I do it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even call that a flip at that point. The way you're describing it sounds a lot like the word curation that you've used before in your collection.
Trimming the bonsai.
Exactly, and it doesn't mean that it was not purchased with the intent of reselling necessarily, but as you've grown as a collector, as your bonsai has grown and developed, you realize maybe certain branches just aren't as crucial or aren't as central or as important as they had been,
especially at current prices.
There you go, and especially if selling that can now put you a significant percentage into a tough pre-war auto you're looking for.
That really helped out with my national budget.
There you go, and you picked up your Sai Young. So we also discussed a little bit last night, and I have to mention this. So I do want to talk about the National a little bit coming up. I know I'm not attending it, although you are.
Yes.
And I'm going to be mostly sad not to see the people that I met at last year's YouTuber meetup. That was so cool. So we'll talk about that. But I also want to mention, while we're still talking about eBay save searches, Tell me about the Cy Young that you picked up and the difficulty
Oh.
of you. I just thought this was hilarious.
I don't know if it's worth.
I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah,
but
I don't even know
funny.
if it's worth mentioning.
I think it is. It's funny. Make
All
me
right.
laugh.
So, my annoyance with acquiring a Cy Young autograph was the search itself. The search terms in eBay when you put in Cy Young autograph, when you put in Cy Young signed, can you imagine how many listings you're going to get? Because every item description of anyone that ever won the Cy Young award, ever inscribed Cy Young on a baseball, from Jacob deGrom to anybody who ever won the Cy Young award.
Brett Saberhagen.
Hundreds of listings every day that I had to comb through. It was like the most annoying part of going through my eBay watched items every day. Was like, oh god, here's the Cy Young part. And so minutes and minutes just to get through each Cy Young category. And so last year at the National, when I finally acquired my Cy Young autograph, which is like, oh my God, that was in the back of my mind, like, sweet, I'm gonna save like 10 minutes a day of going through just junk Cy Young listings, just trying to find an actual Cy Young autograph, an autograph of the man Cy Young, Denton True Young. So that was just a me problem, but
I bet crossing that one off your save searches was particularly satisfying.
Swiping left on the Cy Young searches when I finally got my autograph was like, yes, 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 yes.
Cy Young signed, Cy Young autographed, Cy Young cut, Cy Young PSA DNA, all those gone.
Yeah, it's very satisfying to get that in the PC and not have to search through all the, irrelevant listings for a Cy Young autograph.
That's great. That's great.
Anyway.
So now that you're apparently sold this or planning to sell your Gretzky ball.
I did. I sold it 2 weeks ago.
There we go.
Yep.
Excellent. So now you're flush with cash for the National. What are your big targets or singular target?
Similar to the last 3 Nationals, pick up one big piece. Going to be an autograph, probably. Walter Johnson or Grover Alexander. Those are the 2 big ones. I'm not going to get both. Can't afford both, but I'll try to get one. Just try to knock out one big autograph a year. And those 2 are within my realm of affordability based on what I'm bringing for my budget. So my first National, I picked up the Jackie Robinson autograph. That was the primary piece. Second National, a Stan Musial rookie card, 48 Bowman Stan Musial rookie card. And then this last one, Cy Young autograph. And so this one, hopefully a Walter Johnson. That would be my number 1 pick, would be a Walter. And then secondary, prize would be the Grover Alexander autograph. So hoping to come home with one of those 2. And then I have a couple of cards on my list that I would also be looking out for, some pre-war stuff, some 50s, out of the way 50s stuff. But I think I only have maybe 12 items on my target list now. So it's getting pretty defined.
Yeah.
I'm only going to need one day at the National. So my plan is to only go to the National on Thursday, walk around the show on Thursday, go to the content creator happy hour after the show on Thursday, and then spend the rest of the weekend with my Chicago friends, because I used to live in Chicago. And so I'll just be kind of hanging out with my Chicago buddies the rest of the weekend, and maybe meeting up with some other content creators if they're downtown, they want to meet up later in the weekend. Certainly would be open to that, but really just going to be a Thursday National for me this year.
I found that was about how much time I needed.
Because you're very narrow as well with what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick when I'm going through these shows because, again, it's such a high percentage of it's ultra modern, or if it's not ultra modern, it's vintage.
Not a ton of 90s. Not a ton of 90s.
If it's not that, it's Pokemon or TCG or non-sports, and so it's looking for, there aren't that many dedicated showcases with 90s baseball in them. Right. I'd say at the National there was maybe 6 or 7 that were really prominent.
Yeah.
And
so you spend a lot of time at those tables?
Yeah, and I got to know those dealers, talked with them, and shot the breeze with them, got to know them pretty well, and actually sold quite a few cards. I sold the one dealer that sold $700 worth of cards.
One of the few stories I've ever heard of anybody ever going to the National and leaving with more money than they came with was you last year.
Well, look, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I was looking for. I also set the bar very low. I didn't expect to actually see anything there, and I saw some cool stuff. I saw a beautiful Shining Stars Pulsar. Wasn't expecting to see that, but there it was.
And then you ended up picking up some big cards after that. Right?
Well, and that's what I used that money towards. Yeah, I used that weapon to throw at a 97 Essential Credentials Maddox.
Which, let's be honest, what are your odds of finding that at the National?
Pretty low.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look, there was one case that had a couple Gem Masters in there, one of ones. And so I think I had a Kurt Schilling Gem Master and somebody else, I can't remember who it was, but But that's pretty cool. That's the kind of thing you wouldn't expect to see anywhere. And so, but if you're going to see it,
Yeah.
if it's going to be somewhere,
You're gonna see those upper echelon, PMGs and
Yeah.
essentials and raves and star rubies and
Yeah.
all this stuff. That's the
So-
stuff you might see at the National because
Yeah.
it is the hype stuff, the
But yeah.
overhyped stuff in my opinion. But
But that, well, it's already moved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's interesting to think about what keeps the value for some of that stuff as high as it is, considering that essential credentials. It's still 99 of them.
yeah.
It's not so limited. It's not like there's only 10 of them.
And if you look at pops on them, I mean, they're not that different than just 94 Bowman's best refractors. They aren't that different. Pop
Well,
pops.
that's a fascinating point. I've always wondered when it comes to these pops on some of these 90s inserts that are relatively low, are they going to stay that low, or are they going to at some point as we
They'll
go
creep
on?
up the way pre-war has.
Yeah.
Over time. There's a lot of collectors that still have raw cards,
Yeah.
ungraded cards from the 90s. Like you were saying, a lot of the big 90s collectors
Yeah.
haven't graded.
Our dad never graded.
Yeah.
I know a lot of big player collectors don't typically do that.
And there are still cards of value coming out of boxes like this.
Well,
Stay tuned till the end.
assuming they're not bricked, assuming
Right.
they're not hulked out, assuming that the whole pack didn't get, box didn't get
Yeah.
dropped on its corners and every corner in the whole pack got dinged. I mean,
Yeah.
look, there's,
So there are still cards entering the pop report from rips like this. Not a lot.
no, but there is one that might be sending us.
Stay tuned. All right, we've done that enough.
Okay. Hit it too hard, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh well.
point is. So yeah, it's fascinating because I mean, the reason I sold those cards and the purpose behind that sale wasn't that I didn't even like those cards. Those were cards that I generally was actually pretty happy to have in my collection, but I also at the same time deemed them not impossible to reacquire later if I wanted to.
Yeah, or maybe non-essential.
Right, exactly. But the two Grail cards I picked up after that last year, the essential credentials and the finest gold.
It was literally essential.
It was literally an essential card. It's the first ever essential credentials created with the acetate window and the beautiful holophone. I mean, it's
Arguably the most beautiful set of the 90s. I mean, you could make a
look.
case.
I had to vote on the best base set design for all the
Yep.
90s years.
97
That was-
Skybox.
Yep, Fleer Skybox EX 2000.
Yep.
That was for 97. That was my choice.
Yep.
Ultra premium cards. They were at that. Any time in the 90s, you got to that $5 per pack price tier.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big deal. And that happened. That started happening in 93, 94.
Yeah,
when you
finest, Bowman's best.
got- Flair had $4
Flair.
per pack.
Yep.
The first year, 93. That was a super high gloss, ultra premium, thick card stock. I mean, we don't talk about it.
And heck,
This
even
set too
even
was-
Leaf 90 was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they were 5, but they.
They were up there, probably
Yeah.
four. Or
Yeah,
three,
they were not
350 or
cheap,
four. They
especially
were
for
not.
90.
Well, right, 90 we're used to 50 cent,
Right.
Donruss with the red speckles on the sides.
Yeah, I know it hurts, but 1990 was 35 years ago. I mean, you do the inflation calculation. I mean, that's like the equivalent of a $20 pack now.
Probably. Depressing, but
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Well, I just showed a bunch of those Leaf 90 cards. I was going to say
Oh, yeah.
in my Brent Richards tribute video. And
Yeah.
I realized I forgot to show my Larry Walker rookie TTM.
Autographed.
Yeah. Afterwards.
That's a
but-
beautiful card.
Oh, well.
I used to love that Dave Justice from that year
Oh, yeah, also.
because that was a Justice collector.
Yeah, Justice, Walker, Sosa also is in that set, aside from the Thomas obviously, but yeah, it was a great set.
Beautiful set.
Great set, good design, clean design.
I believe the first set to feature a color photo on the back of the card.
That might be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was not done.
Little window with the guy's, headshot.
Full color.
Yeah, full color.
Yeah.
The Stadium Club did it the year after, but
With the rookie card feature.
Yeah, that was cool,
The Topps
too.
rookie card, that was
Yeah.
cool. Really cool.
actually, did 89 Upper Deck? They might have.
They might have actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the second year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still they had holograms though. That was the first
Yeah.
year of holograms. That was all about that. Upper Deck was all about holograms,
Yes.
etching, the foil etching, and the die cuts.
Yeah. 89 Upper Deck was kind of like changed the game for sure.
Yeah, that started the innovation era.
And then those packs were like $1 each, which I think was
Which again, still like blew people's minds because it's
Yeah.
supposed to be 35 cents or 25 cents or
Yep.
whatever. You know?
yeah. If Tops was at 50,
Right.
this is
right.
double the price of Tops.
Exactly. But premium white cardstock and a hologram on every one of them.
Yeah.
So, hey.
All right. So where are we going next?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. So we've talked about safe searches. We talked about prepping for the national. And like I said before, I'm not going to the national, but when I do plan on going to the next Philly show, it's probably the next one I'm going to go to in September. My philosophy is not really going to change a whole lot. I'm mostly going to keep my expectations low because I can just cruise pretty quickly through looking for the few dealers that will have the stuff I'm interested in.
Have you found? I've heard this is a great buying period if you're looking for cards that typically may not come up at a certain price. That month or two before the national, sometimes because a lot of people aren't buying. If you are buying, that can be one of the best times to buy.
I've noticed that there are a couple, with my varied saved searches, I've noticed that there are some cards that have ended at really nice competitive prices.
I think there's a lot of people holding back. These, I am.
Yep.
So I'm in, saving, conserving, building that, national war chest,
No, yeah.
So I haven't bought anything for the last month or two.
I think when you have a significant chunk of the hobby that's intentionally removing themselves from the buying pool, look, you got less competition to go around, things slip under the radar. And so it could be a great opportunity. I think there's another topic that I've heard collectors discuss regarding preparing for something like the national. And that's sort of like, well, what if it's the month before and you're trying to prepare and save and get ready for all your finances in order? Well, what if one of the items you're looking for pops up like the month right before?
Yeah, that's a dilemma.
Do you just do it? I mean, I kind of think if the purpose of that savings weapon is to acquire that thing, and you can see that thing the month before, it's sort of like
I've done it.
If you saw it at the first table that you went to at the national, you would buy it.
Absolutely.
What if you saw it standing in line before you got in the door, and the dude in front of you happened to have this exact whatever?
I would buy it.
Yeah, okay. And so what if the guy the night before in the hotel lobby had it?
I would buy it.
Okay, and so what if you could, you just keep going back, right? And so what about on the way to the airport? You're searching on eBay.
I would buy it. I'll tell you, full disclosure, I've done this before where I'll find a card or two that I was looking to buy at the national a month before the national, and I'll buy it on eBay because it's at the price, it's the perfect one. It's the one that I would have bought at the national had I saw it for that price. And so, there have been a couple occasions where I bought things on eBay and I kind of just put them in my little case that I was bringing to the national, and they were my national pickups because the money that I set aside for the national was used for those items. And so I basically just pretended like I got them to the national.
Mission accomplished.
And the cool thing was I didn't even let myself look at them. I took them out, made sure that it was the card that I bought, cool. And then I put it in my backpack and little case that I bring with me to put my cards in at the national, put it in my backpack and tried to forget about it. And then when I was at the content creator event, when I started pulling out the cards that I got at the national, I just pulled those out with it. And that way I could share them with the fellow collectors that might want to see them. And I still considered them national purchases because they were still purchased around the area of the national with the money that I saved for the national. And I wanted to share them with the national people. So for me, it doesn't really matter whether it's oh, did you buy it at the national or in the line leading into the national or 3 weeks beforehand on eBay. Either way, I don't think anyone cares. So as long as you're getting the stuff you want to get for the price you want to get it for, and it meets your eye appeal and your standards, why shouldn't you bring it to the national and share it with other collectors, right?
I think two important points. I think that's exactly right. It opens up and invites the community to share in with your joy, with your collection and your accomplishment.
I just know from my end,
really cool thing
looking at other people's cards, at the content, I wouldn't care if they bought it 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
I just want to see the card.
Right. And be happy for them.
Yes.
Say, oh man, look at that awesome Clemente you picked up, or look at that amazing Jackie, or whatever it is.
It's all about just acquiring what we're really passionate about and then sharing that passion with the community, really.
I agree. And the second thing about that is for both of us, both of our lanes and our focuses are targeted enough, and they're tough enough to find the exact item that we want. It's not every day that one of those pops up. And so when you do see it, at some point you have to spring on it. You have to jump on it.
Yeah.
Because if in action, someone else is gonna take advantage of that. It won't be available.
Absolutely.
If you sit around and wait to after the national's over, then try to go back to that listing 3 weeks before. It'll be gone. Someone else will have either made a better offer or have snapped it up at the bin or something.
Absolutely.
And so you can't be assured of that. And so what are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
If what you're looking for pops up and you're actively not hitting the bid button or the buy now button.
Yeah, if your dream card or your dream autograph is on eBay right now at the price that you're happy to pay for it,
what are you doing?
Yeah, buy it.
Yeah.
Buy it and then bring it to the National.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I can envision a case where you pass on it or you wait.
Mm-hmm.
You wait with the intention of, okay, after I'm going to do. You go through the National, you don't see what you're looking for there. You don't find it there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't find what I was looking for there. And then you go back home, and then it's gone. It's not available anymore, and you missed your chance. And would you rather that be the case? I mean,
Not a good place to be.
no.
No. Or if you find an item online and the seller happens to be one of the big sellers, one of the sellers that's going to be the National anyway, you can pre-arrange a sale. Say, hey, are you going to be the National? Yes. Great. Could you hold this card for me? I'm going to purchase it. I'll pay you cash. You could even arrange something. I don't know. But I'll meet you at the National. I'll be at your booth. And then you can actually get it in person at the National.
No shipping.
And you've prearranged the price and you're supporting that dealer. And so, yeah, that's something I've done before too.
That's awesome. That's a very good point.
That way you're going to walk into that convention center, you know what booth to go to, and then you just have to go there, give them the money, and you get your thing that you agreed to get. And then it's like, cool, that was great. And you get to shake a hand and support a dealer and actually have a memory with it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's I don't know. That's our take on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Doesn't mean it's the only take or the only correct take. But
No, but I think it's the take that makes sense. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, it's all about getting the items we want at the price we want them, and then sharing in the community.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm gonna miss this year about not being able to go is not saying hi to the cool people I've been watching their content and commenting on, and
I will send your love.
Thank you
Everyone.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I'll send the high pop love out to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's kind of a shorter episode.
Yeah,
I feel like
we're hitting a good stopping time here.
Yeah,
So
we're out on vacation, so we figured we'd take a half hour and just sit down and do one of these things in person because we've never done it before.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. And who knows? Maybe we'll get inspired and do a second one before the week's over. Who knows?
Absolutely.
So,
and for those of you waiting for the 1994 Bowman's Best 1/2 box pack rip, the results are coming right up.
So enjoy that. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
And we're on the last pack here, and Brian we know he has a refractor in there. We just don't know who it is. Okay, Joe Carter.
This is it. Should I save it to the end?
Let's just reveal it.
Okay.
Here's the refractor. Who is it?
Bonds.
Bonds.
Barry Bonds.
Yes.
Beautiful card.
Brian.
Oh my God.
Nice hit.
Thank you, Iconic Al. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Last pack magic.
Out of a
no joke.
31-year-old pack?
Look at that. And then no hulking. Really, just so light on his face. That is amazing.
That is a unicorn.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Well, let's finish out the pack.
Next to Mr. Bonds here too.
Let's see what else
right
you got.
there. Oh yeah, I gotta sleeve this up or something.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
I
we'll
got
put
it.
this here.
Yeah.
We'll put this to the side. All right, we'll get Larkin and Jeter. That's a nice mirror image.
Very nice.
Little hook there on Larkin's face. But get Bagwell.
Bagwell?
Oh my gosh, look at that. this is what it could look like though. Like this is.
That's bad.
He's got a beard.
Bagwell was from radiation.
Yeah. You will share noble parallel. That's right. Dimitri Young. No hulking at all.
Also, notably a baseball card collector, Dimitri.
Yeah, that's right. And there's my last. Oh man, Rondell White.
Okay.
Yeah, moderate hulking on the.
That Bonds made the whole box.
Oh
right
my
there.
gosh, unbelievable! And what's really funny, the other refractor we got was a teammate of his,
Will Clark.
Will Clark.
Will the Thrill.
Will the Thrill.
So those were our 2 refractors out of the 12 packs.
Yeah.
And
Pretty good.
throwback to
Unbelievable.
1994. When he last opened this product.
That's the last time
There he is.
I pulled it.
This is, yep,
In Ocean City.
young high pop professor. The last time he opened 94 Bowman's Vest. All right. All right.